Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Drink and Think podcast quarantine edition. I'm your host, Jared Strail.
And I'm Adam. So let's get right into it.
Yeah, so obviously, this is the quarantine edition. We're practicing safe social distancing right now. You're at your apartment, and I'm back at home.
Which is currently about give or take 300 miles away. So we're
Yeah,
definitely keeping our distance.
well, yeah, and that's the great thing about all this technology that we have is that we're able to do stuff like this where, you know, 10 years ago, it might have been a little more difficult to do this. I mean, I don't know the exact,
Well,
datage of when this sort of technology was happening and stuff and who had access to it, but at least it's way more available and ready to everybody today.
well, I don't know about you, but I remember whenever Skype came out. Now, it makes me sound old when I was like, I remember, but whenever
Back in
Skype
my
did,
day.
yeah, serious. But whenever Skype came out, I remember that there was so many lags, but at the same time, we were so amazed that we could talk to someone
Well,
halfway
that's
around
like
the
that was the
world.
same thing with FaceTime. Like, I remember growing up. Yeah, and we do sound old, and I'm 22. You're gonna be 23 in October.
Yeah.
We're not that old, but I will say, whenever I was growing up and they first started introducing FaceTime, I was like, this is the dumbest thing ever. Like, no one's gonna want to use this. Like, it's gonna be awful. And granted, like for a while, it wasn't that great because they were first rolling it out. The quality wasn't great. They had to introduce some new things and you know make it better as it went along. But I was like, there's no way that this is going to turn out well. And now we're seeing the effects, the benefits from having that sort of technology.
But in that, I mean, you actually can stay like quarantine essentially. But then there's
Yeah.
those
Stay
people
home,
out
folks.
there.
Stay home.
Yeah. Speaking of, I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are completely ignoring it, saying, oh, because I'm young, I'm going to live forever almost kind of
Right.
mentality,
Yeah,
which, I mean,
I had my cousin the other day. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go up north and hang out with a friend or whatever and go fishing." I was like, "Do you like understand at all like how this happened?" Is basically because someone got the virus, didn't know that they had it, and traveled around contacting and socializing with other people, and that's why it spread so bad. Is because the problem with this virus is that it doesn't show up 50% of the time. It's asymptomatic is what I read is the newest thing. I don't
yeah,
know, how accurate that
CDC
is.
came out with
Yeah,
that today.
yeah, it was the CDC that came out with that. So there's that part that like some people don't even know that they have the virus to begin with. And then there's also the other side of it where it doesn't start showing up for like 7 to 14 days, and by that point you're thinking you're healthy, so you're going around traveling, meeting up with people, spreading like your germs and your virus around to other people. And that's why it's such a big issue now, is because it spreads so bad. And so it's like, just
Now,
stay home. Like, what is the problem with staying home?
now I will admit that I'm not the best at staying home. I
What do you
mean,
mean?
well, I mean, for someone who works at home now, and so
Mm-hmm.
you're essentially in the apartment. I mean, give it's a spacious apartment, but you still have those urges that you want to just go out and do stuff, which I mean, that's
Well, like, there's the difference
there's
between going out to be like, hey, let's go party, and like, I need to go to the store to get X, Y, and Z groceries or medicine or whatever. Or if you're going outside to like exercise or go for a run, like, that's fine if you stay far away from people.
yeah.
But
Well, the reason why I say I'm bad at it is because the past, I'd say, 2 Sundays, Logan, my old roommate, he was like, "Hey, I gotta test out these new coilovers that I got for my car. Want to
right,
hang out?" And so we would we hung out for the past 2 Sundays, and then from there, I mean, we went from each other's apartments to the house or whatnot,
Right.
which is by definition going against the stay-at-home order.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm guilty of something similar, but it's at least like, and that's the big thing is like it's the large social gatherings that you have to worry about. Yes, like you still have to worry about who that person interacts with, and who they and that person interacts with this person, and so on and so forth. Like it's a long chain. But if you limit the number of people that you see, that's like the big benefactor, is that you have to make sure that you're not seeing 150 different people. And unfortunately, that's why we're seeing so many like nurses get it, retail workers,
It's
police
just so
officers.
sad.
Dude, it's heartbreaking, honestly. Like they it I saw a post the other day, and it was about something like, it's whenever this is all over, it's not going to be the CEO and billionaires that we're going to remember. It's going to be all the nurses and doctors and first responders that we remember, who put in the, actual brunt force work. Because, yeah, I'm sure like some celebrities or some billionaires or CEOs are donating some money and stuff to, like, be a good person, I would hope, is the reason they're doing it. But at the same time, like, the people actually being the most affected by it, or taking on the brunt force of this pandemic, is those medical
Frontline workers,
professionals.
yeah. Which, I mean, thank you for those people. I mean, we need those
Oh
kind of
yeah.
people in our lives all the time. But then at the same point, if everyone had that mentality, when we first came out with the stay-at-home order here in Indiana, Brandy and I, 2 or 3 days into it, whenever it was like a 60-degree day, it wasn't something extraordinary, but it
Hmm.
was it was well enough to go out and go for a walk. And our mentality was that there'd be so few people on the trail that we live by
Right.
that no one would be out and about, and we would still technically be doing social distancing.
Right.
And it turned out when we went out onto the trail, we had to avoid so many people. Like every couple feet, we'd be either getting passed by someone or we'd be like walking around someone.
Right.
And I was like, isn't it supposed to be a stay-at-home order?
Well,
Like, give
and
it, yeah.
the
I was
same
supposed to be at
mentality
home
that
too.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say, is like the same mentality that you're having is the same exact mentality that everybody else is gonna be having. And like,
But that's where it just goes downhill. You would
well,
think,
yeah,
okay,
that's
maybe.
that's the problem, is that it becomes sort of a mob mentality, is that like, regardless if you actually communicate with others, hey, you stay home so I can go go for a walk or something, like, that's the
Someone would hate to
same.
be
No one
saying that.
actually says that, and everybody thinks, oh, not everybody's going to be out and about because there's a stay-at-home order. And then you get into those situations where everybody's outside because they're having the same mentality, which is like, it's crazy to me to think that like the moment, like before this all happened, like let's take last August, this past August, wasn't a stay-at-home order, totally free to go everywhere. Like this fires wasn't around, because it didn't start till January. This fires wasn't around. We weren't told to stay at home. How many people do you think actually went out all the time?
Barely any.
Like, and now that we're being told to stay home, people are like, no, you can't tell me what to do, or like, I don't have to
Oh,
listen to this,
we're
or
we're
I'll be
acting like
fine.
we're acting like children. I
We
mean,
really are. We really are.
it's one of those where it's like someone tells you, "Hey, sit in the corner because you just need to,"
It's
or
like everybody's throwing a fit.
"Hey, don't touch that," kind of thing, and you're gonna
Yeah.
be like, "Oh, so let me touch that?" No,
Like the moment that we're told to stay at home because we're trying to save people's lives, like literally keep people alive, is the minute that people freak out and
Want to
don't
go
know
out.
what to do with themselves. Like, yeah, I
Well,
understand some people like have been laid off because like their industry's down, or like they like, especially like
but
some
so is so
restaurants.
many other people. That's the thing.
Right. But it's just like, I get that there like there's only so many things that you can do from home to keep yourself entertained. But like, and I don't want to sound like too cliche or something, but like read a book or something, or like, I don't know, learn a new skill. Like,
Read
but
or watch
most of the
movies.
people that are being affected by this stay-at-home order, I would say that probably 80 or 90% of them have decent internet, if anything.
Hmm.
Go, I don't know, like take a master class or like some sort of like educational thing to learn a new skill, or pick up a new hobby that you can do from home. Like, there's got to be something that you can do.
And what's scary is that the new fact that everyone's going out and about and just doing their own thing, even though we're supposed to be at home, is that the White House has the new estimations of how many deaths are going to happen.
Isn't it like two
If,
over 200,000?
yeah, somewhere near that, 200,000. That's as many cases as we have right now. Right now, currently, we have 207,535 cases, active cases.
Jeez.
800 or sorry, 8,762 have recovered, but 4,609 deaths just in the
Goodness
US.
gracious. And
They're
that's the
just
other
talking,
thing, is like, people are always like, or at least I've been seeing some things that are like, oh, why aren't we talking about how many people like that have recovered from it, because it's greater than the people that have died from it. It's like, that's not the point of it. The point of why we're being told to stay at home and why we're trying to limit this spread is so that that number of how many deaths there are stays as low as possible. Like, yeah, a lot of people will recover, hopefully, but you still want to try to minimize the amount of deaths possible. Like, I don't, it just seems like that's the logical argument to it.
the crazy part is like what we were saying currently earlier is, or sorry, earlier was that some of those deaths are the caregivers, the nurses, the doctors that are actually
Hmm.
helping try and take care of people.
That
I
can't
mean,
stay home.
yeah, it's just if if you look at it as a statistical and mathematical kind of approach as to which, I mean, I think like this, and I bet you do too,
Hmm.
because I know you. But with how many cases we have currently, and people have to point to the recovery list,
Right.
the only way that the cases are going to stay like like the lowest you can possibly do to lessen the curve is
Hmm.
that once you like stay home like you are right, or everyone should be doing right
Yeah,
now.
everybody should be.
Well, in 2 weeks, the 200,000 cases,
Hmm.
like a big fraction of that will have recovered by then in 2 weeks. And then once you
Really?
have those big number of people that are recovered, they have all those antibodies that are already protecting them from ever getting it again. Well,
Right.
if everyone's staying home and it slowly starts to die off, then if an infected person meets a recovered person, they should not get sick. So therefore,
Right.
if you ever go, if anyone's listening and goes out and looks up these weird, cool models that the CDC came out with, they showed if they showed basically if people stayed home, they had a model like interactive model, which was really cool. It was just free
Hmm.
flowing dots. And if no one did social distancing and stayed at home, then everyone got infected in like 25% of the time on the timeline.
Wow.
And then it basically killed half of them.
Yeah.
Now, if you did the stay at home order like we are now
Hmm.
and have only a few people like interacting with each other,
Yeah.
by the time one gets infected, that if another free flowing dot gets hit by it, it should have recovered before it got hit. So
Right.
mathematically and statistically, it will basically do itself a favor in the long run. But
And yeah, and the other thing is like if we follow this stay at home order, and I know like some states aren't on lockdown or whatever you want to call it, but everybody should just stay home as much as possible because it's the smart thing to do. But like this virus is such a taxing thing on the medical industry that like we're running out of supplies and resources for the people fighting this disease, like all the frontline EMTs, the nurses, doctors, technicians. Like it's such a taxing resource on that industry that if you limit the amount of people that are coming in with the virus, like new exposures, new cases, you can like recover some of those resources and then maybe apply it to finding a vaccine. Like,
which the thing is, what's sad, and seeing how I'm sort of in the medical field,
yeah,
just
and I'm going to
by
be
my line
future.
of work. Well, so the scary part is that we basically have 10 to 15, or probably more than that now, but we have 15 different vaccines that are being in trials right now.
Mm-hmm.
Basically saying that they do work. They're just making sure that it doesn't have any like
You have
bad
to do
effects
proper research. You have to make sure there's no like long-term side effects. Like it's not going to end up actually hurting the person more.
in the long run. Yeah. But people just don't understand that you have to go through these,
No.
which sucks because it's 12 months.
Oh
12
my
months from
gosh.
now is finally whenever it's going to actually come out. But even then, I mean, it has to go through these stages. Like you said, it has to make sure that it doesn't hurt the person in the long term run
Mm-hmm.
and just helping in the short term.
Yeah,
And
because
if
like
you really think about it, it feels like we are like at some kind of war. Because, I mean, if you think about it, we are actually having, well, for example, in World War II, we had these different, we had the car manufacturing changing over to a certain
mm-hmm.
kind of product because that's all that they were allowed, like because they needed the resources now.
Right, and they were
And
helping out
now,
the war effort.
well, now like car manufacturers like GM and like Tesla are now making stuff for hospitals.
Yeah.
It totally feels like we're in like at an all-out war.
Yeah, and I saw another thing that was like some engineering companies are using like 3D printers to like print masks and stuff, which is like amazing and like glad that we have that technology and that people are like stepping up to like
In
help out
applying
the
it.
cause, yeah, and not just use it for their own personal gain. Like it may like I try to look at that stuff more than the negatives of like people being stupid and going out and not taking this virus seriously.
It's just amazing what kind of technology we have out there to fight this. I mean, I know this sounds more of like your kind of opinion, but let's be honest. Do you really think that China actually came out with real numbers?
Well, I read something the other day, and I again with all information and all the misinformation that's being spread in today's world, like I take everything with a grain of salt.
Exactly.
Um, I read something that was like if China had been and like not racist or anything, like I'm just relaying the information that I read the other day. I don't know if it's true or not, but it was like a medical professional had said that like if the facts had been clearly stated and publicized by before like the huge outbreak and before that person spread, like this pandemic could have been nipped in the bud right away if like the information had not been disclosed or like if it had been disclosed and not kept secret.
And that's just scary, but I mean, that's the sad fact of today's world. You kind of, but like you said, you can't really take everything word for word by what
Yeah, and
everybody
like
said.
I want to say I believe it more because I read it from multiple sources, so like that helps a little bit with me thinking it's a little more legit. But then I read something the other day that said like our government was trying to do the same thing. Like it seems like people aren't learning from mistakes.
Yeah. But
So hopefully it'll blow over
well,
soon.
let's put it in this aspect. Uh, there was there was a time in this past winter where there was many schools and like work areas that were kind of getting hit by this. What they said was a flu, which is kind of scary because it had the exact same kind of features as what the coronavirus is right now.
Oh yeah, they initially misdiagnosed a lot of cases they think as like a respiratory illness.
And that's what is scary because when I went home and when I went out with some friends, we basically, whenever I got back to Indy, I became sick. And that's right when
Gosh,
this coronavirus thing was just like starting to hit
exploding.
everywhere.
Yeah.
It was just kind of terrifying at first. Well, at first I was just like, it's just like a cold,
Right.
whatever. But literally, I had all those symptoms of the coronavirus. And
Probably freaking out.
well, at that point, I was just like, well, I'm going to stay home because not many people our age was actually getting like
Right.
like
Coming
physically
down with
sick.
it.
Yeah, so I mean, there was like 95% of people only get those mild cases.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking maybe I do have it. I just have the mild case. And I got Brandy sick too. So, I mean, oops. But, I mean, we live together. So, I mean, it's kind of,
You two are healthy now though, aren't you?
yeah, but it took all a bit of those 2 weeks to get back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
Had a cough the entire time. And it was that dry cough. And it was just like, oh. So,
It's coronavirus.
well, there's always that what if moment, but see
Right.
now we're back to normal. It's like we're acting like if we may or may not have it or had it. So if we
Mm-hmm.
had it, then I
Now
guess
you're
good
worried
news
about
for
like
us.
who you spread it to.
Yeah, well, that was the thing is that no one else around us got sick, so it's kind of like, well, how? But we did stay home for like a a full week before actually going out anywhere. So
Mm-hmm.
it that could have been the reason why we stopped it. But
Hopefully.
all right.
But let's just let this be a reminder. Stay home during times like these. Like
Yeah, a little
use
bit of a
common
rant on
sense.
that, guys, but it's
But
worth it.
kind of go with that. I don't know if you've run into this. I don't know if it's really a problem per se, but one thing since I've been quarantined is I am constantly snacking, and I don't know what it is about being bored. If it's something biological, if it's something that's just innate in our human makeup. But why do I snack and continue to snack when I'm bored?
See, a lot of people have that problem, but honestly, I, all right, I did. Let's put it that way.
You
Now
did.
I don't.
Well, because I think you've cultivated a sense of discipline about snacking and stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, someone like you that you could eat all day and not gain any weight
Yeah.
is really nice.
Which I
So I
mean,
can
I
understand.
hate because like I'm trying to put on more muscle and like more mass, so it's hard to do that. But then as soon as I say that to somebody, they immediately go off of me and like, how could you hate that? Like you're so like consider yourself lucky that you can eat whatever you want, whenever you want, and not gain a single pound. Just like I understand your frustration, but your goal and my goal are two very different things.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's where it's, for example, Brandy just is like, I'm so hungry because I'm bored. I'm like, is that really hungry or is it just boredom that's more the hungriness? Not
Right.
really you actually being hungry. But at the same time, could you imagine just people going through the snack aisle just at Kroger or Walmart or wherever you want to go? Just crazy, just well, I want these crackers right here. Why? Just cause.
Because I'm bored. Like, if we go back 10,000 years, like, if we went and observed cavemen, do you think that they, like, if they're just sitting around, they're just, like, gnawing on some grapes or, like, fruits and
Rocks.
stuff or, or rocks? Hey, Dave, pass me a rock.
I need to know on something. Come on, bud.
My my
Oh,
my tumbly's rumbling.
it's the only way I can stop it. But no, it is a curious aspect. Is it just something that we
Yeah, is this something that
do?
like and I was thinking about that the other day. Like, I wonder how many things that we have today, like if we tried to explain to a caveman, would we be able to? Like, how would you try to explain electricity to a caveman?
I don't know. It's it's one thing where it's trying to explain how to cook something. I wonder if they knew what that
Or
is.
yeah,
Like
like
so basic.
even the most basic thing, like try to explain to them what a toilet is.
Ooh, try
Like
it. Try and
you
put them on a plane and be
Oh,
like,
dude, yeah, I don't think you could do that. As soon as you start, well, even if like you put them on a scooter, like they'd
or a
probably still
car.
freak
Could you
out.
imagine?
Like
Like
anything
with
that
the
moves faster than them running, like it's gonna be weird to them.
ooh, I wonder if like our bodies some way somehow like adapted to higher speeds. Because if you, I don't know if you went from someone from that era to straight in a jet, if that would some way somehow kill them, or if it's just like a
Well, I mean, I wonder how fast then. I guess that prompts a question like, how fast did trains go back then? Because like trains have been around for a little bit longer than other
cars.
automotive things.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if you took somebody that was in that was around whenever cars were first being like invented and you could ride in them, that from that point until like the last like 5 or 10 years that they were alive and able to move around and got in a new vehicle, how did what was that experience like for them? How did they adjust?
See, the train aspect is that it's a slow start,
Yeah.
but if you put someone that is used to something that slow and just sticking them in a brand new Tesla of some sort,
I don't think they had Teslas back then, dude.
no, 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 no. I'm just saying, theoretically here.
Oh,
Sticking someone just in a really fast car, 0 to 60, just or even like a Hellcat or something,
oh my gosh, dude.
just something wild. Where the 0 to 60 is a little much for us, let alone them.
Right. Well, like, and that's what they was like that. I was thinking, like, if I had to explain to a caveman what a toilet was, I'd be like, okay, so there's this bowl, and it's not a bowl you eat from, it's a bowl that you poo and pee in.
But what if they just don't understand those
well,
two key terms? They're just like, "What's
well,
that?"
and then I was gonna say, like, if they could understand, like, let's say they could understand English, like perfect English, and knew like what everything represented, they'd be like, well, why don't you just go outside and do it? Like,
or
that's what we
or
do.
drink from it,
Yeah, like to us, it's normal that like we do one and two in a bowl
or
of
explain
some
to someone that's a
sorts.
water fountain of some sort.
Yeah, and they're just like they're going wherever they feel like going. Or I wonder, like, yeah, did they have like camps or whatever that they set up or living areas, and they would only do that outside, or did they literally just go whenever they felt like it? I don't know.
Sorry,
It's weird.
I just got distracted because it looks like there's a river outside our.
Is it raining a lot up there?
No, it just looks like a stream is in the middle of the street, and it's just.
Is it a stream
But
of people? Stay
no
inside,
water.
people.
Water. Yeah, exactly. Stay inside.
Stay inside.
But no. So speaking of rain, this I gotta tell you, man, this weather is really killer. It is just cloudy, gloomy, and now stuck inside. This
Okay,
is
but at least it's been like warmer temps though.
not up here. I mean, right? Well, it
Well,
depends on your definition of warmer temperatures.
okay,
Because
well, I'm thinking like last year, or it was either last year or 2 years ago. I was literally coming back from a track meet, and this was like April 14th or something, just to throw out a date. Um, I was coming back from a track meet, and it was April time where it should be like, I can understand like it'd still be cold here or there, or colder here or there on a day. They're not like consistently cold, but it snowed a solid like 4 or 5 inches and stuck to the ground
ouch.
like in April. Like, I would much rather take this gloomy, slightly warmer weather than snow in April.
But doesn't it not? It just doesn't give you that warm feeling of a sunny day. Even if it's 40 degrees outside and it's sunny, you still get that warm feeling compared to a 50 to 60-degree day, but cloudy, like dark cloud.
Well, I mean, well, what are you doing? Are you a cat? Are you laying out in the sun? Like, what's going on?
No, I'm just saying, like, so you if you look outside, right? You just look outside and you're like,
I'm
oh,
looking at
it's
a
such a
wall.
nice day. At least if you take a step outside, your day's just like better. But if it's gloomy and you look outside, you're like, I'm just gonna stay in here. You don't want to step outside.
Okay, I
You
mean,
just
I could kind of understand what you're saying there, but I still would prefer a temperature where like even in a time like this where we're told to stay home, even then I would prefer a temperature where it's warm enough that I could walk out in shorts and a t-shirt and flip-flops than be all bundled up just to walk to the end of my driveway to get my mail.
see. I mean, I agree with that fully,
Even if it's
but
not sunny.
well, I mean, different circumstances. Trying to doing that at an apartment is different because you're just like a step outside, you're like getting judged by half the people that just looking outside their windows like,
What are you
who's
being
that?
judged for?
Homeless. Well, if you're in a flip flops or something, you look homeless up here.
Dude, how many people do you think have gone outside in a robe,
Honestly, I would
shorts,
not care if I
and
did
flip
that. It's
flops?
more
Like,
of
yeah, I wouldn't care either, but you just gotta stop caring what
oh, I
other
know.
people are thinking of you that you don't even know.
Hey Alexa, what's the current temperature?
Right now,
I was
it's
like, why are
51
you?
degrees
Who's
Fahrenheit.
Alexa? Who the hell are you
Tonight,
talking to?
expect a low of 37 degrees.
37. See, that's what makes me have trust issues, Jared.
You said she said it's a low of 37.
Low of 37 tonight. Now
Yeah,
that's
it's a
still
low of 39 down here tonight, but it's currently 55 outside.
oof. I'll take that over my 51.
You're unreasonable.
Anyways, it's one of those days where, well, I'm waiting for a day where I can just drive around, but at the current moment, you're not allowed to
Dude,
drive
what,
around.
what literally what did we just talk about?
I know, but that's the thing.
Stay
Is it?
home.
But is driving around really bad? Let's just talk about
Well,
like if you're not going anywhere, if you're just driving around, is that considered
okay, here's
bad?
the only scenario that I could see where it would be fine to drive around. One, you're not getting in the way of like you're not blocking up main roads or anything, so like ambulances can go through, or people that are symptomatic can go through. You don't get caught by you don't get stopped or caught or whatever by the police or National Guard because we're on a lockdown. And you literally only get in your car and that's the only thing you do. Like, you don't interact with anybody else. You don't go to like a fast food place. Like, you literally just get in your car, drive around to drive, and then you come right back home. That's the only
Are you,
scenario that I can see.
are you saying that going to some fast food restaurant to get food is bad?
Yeah, because like from what I know, this is spread by like it's contained in bodily fluids. So like spit, sweat, or maybe not sweat, but just like it's spread basically from like the same way that like the flu is spread. So if you don't interact with people, because like let's say you have it and you're driving around, you go to like a fast food place, you go to the drive-through window. As soon as you touch the bag, and let's say your hand is contaminated, you haven't cleaned it or whatever, like I don't know, you wiped your nose or your mouth or whatever, and so it's on, like the virus is on your hand. As soon as you touch that bag, it will spread to the person on the other side of holding that bag. So
But
unless
then
they
at
like
the
toss
same
it in or like you don't talk to them, then maybe you'd be fine.
Well, the thing is that now with all this going around, everyone has these like gloves and whatnot because they have to now because
Mm-hmm.
they are considered a necessity almost.
Well, people
Even
need to
though,
eat,
yeah, exactly.
but
So,
people
I
should be
mean,
able to eat from home.
yeah,
It's cheaper.
it would be cheaper, but at the same time, if I want to enjoy some kind of,
You are
uh,
part of the problem.
I am, but to a certain level, because at the same time, in order for the world to still go around, you have to be some kind of consumer.
Well, yeah, but like we can
But it's
still do that via like DoorDash and
well, then that's the
or
same
deliver.
problem,
Well,
except
okay, but you're limiting the number of contacts between people.
well, I've done DoorDash, believe it or not, for a
Mm-hmm.
couple weeks. The amount of people that you interact is pretty nuts. If the
Well,
one
then you just
person,
can't you just leave them instructions to leave it at the front door?
but they still touched it.
Okay, yeah, so they touch it, you disinfect it, the outside of it, or wear gloves or whatever.
Have you seen the video of the guy spraying his Starbucks coffee?
I thought you were gonna talk about the one where the parent was disinfecting their kid, where they spray
That's
disinfectant all over their kid, like it was
what's
like a
more
car wash or something, but for humans.
what's more embarrassing? Someone spraying the entirety of a like coffee cup that someone just got, but they themselves, the workers, were wearing gloves,
Right.
or or a parent literally spraying down their kid because they were like, well, they might be infected. Well, if that's true, then you're screwed already.
Right. Like, yeah, what are the chances that they haven't already spread it around to like your clothing or whatever? I don't know. If I feel like it's more embarrassing for the like Starbucks person who handed out the drink because then like you're making them feel bad, but like I don't know, literally hosing down your kid with disinfectant, like that kid's gonna be traumatized.
You can only imagine that. It's like one of those things where you couldn't have waited to get home to do that, but no, you have to do it on the premise of the school.
Yeah, like let's say like so obviously like schools are out until like next year, whatever, to for the foreseeable future. The next time that they come around, like one of the other kids in that child's class is gonna be like, "Hey Jimmy, your mom still spray you every day?"
Bro, that would be considered some kind of harassment in
Yeah,
the
that's like,
future.
I mean, it's bullying, but like, I don't know, I can't help but laugh at it a little bit.
I forget where I seen it somewhere, but they were saying how people are gonna return after the coronavirus era, and it shows like one of those like wigs from like George Washington kind of look,
Oh,
except
the
it's
like powder
toilet paper.
wigs.
No, yeah, but they're toilet paper this
Oh
time.
my gosh, dude! I
So it's like how they're going to return.
dude. Speaking of that, I saw this post the other day that somebody was so bored that they calculated how many poops somebody would have to do in order to go through a certain amount of toilet paper. And the way that the person
What?
calculated was that it was like, those huge like packages from Costco of
Oof.
toilet paper? They're like 72 rolls
Yes.
or something.
Yeah.
And they said that like, and I'm probably butchering the numbers, but it was something that like there's 20, if you use like 20 sheets of toilet paper per poo, and there's about like I want to say like 750 sheets or something per roll, or like 1,000 sheets per roll, you'd have to poop like 47 times a day for a whole year just to go through one of those packages of Costco size
Say
toilet
that one more
paper.
time. How long?
It was like, and again, I'm probably butchering the numbers, but it was an insane amount. Like it was 40 poops or more per day for a whole year, I think. Or maybe it was like the whole time we're on quarantine or under quarantine. You had to do like 40 poops a day in order to go through one container, like one Costco like size container of toilet paper.
Jesus.
And like there's people out there buying like 4 or 5 of those things. Like what's the point?
What is the point? Like,
Like
you're gonna be
it's
stocked up for about 4 years by that point.
no
If you
kidding.
stocked up. Oof.
Like you're set for life. And like I get it, toilet paper doesn't go bad, but you're set up for life on toilet paper. You don't need anything else.
I mean, I can understand if you're going through war, but not now.
But we aren't. And like
Exactly.
like did somebody just randomly like the way that I think that this happened, and it's probably not true, but the way that I imagine this, how this all started with the toilet paper thing, is that there are two people that happen to be standing next to each other in the grocery store, wherever they're getting their toilet paper.
And see someone taking 3 of them.
Well, no, yeah, one person's like, they're just, they're chatting like, oh, how are you doing with all this stuff going on? Blah, like before it all exploded and we were under lockdown, like just two random people, two strangers, just standing there in a grocery store or wherever, convenience store, and they're standing there, just chatting, small talk, whatever. And out of the blue, one of them just goes, I bet if this explodes, we're going to run out of toilet paper. And then they just run and grab like 10 cases and bolt out the door. And then the other person's like, he must know something I don't know. And then grabs another 5 cases, bolts out the door. And then it's just like a mob mentality.
Well, that's how everyone's been reacting. I mean, I think the government didn't help it when they were like, so just get 2 weeks worth and you should be good. And people are taking that as more of like 4 to 6 if everyone's trying to get everything for 2 weeks. So better
Right.
stock up.
I better get as much as I can possibly hold right now because everybody else is going to have the same thinking as I am.
But at the same time, why would someone get 5 to 6 gallons of milk?
I
That
don't
goes
know.
bad in about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks
And
at
it takes
max, I
away from
think.
the people that don't have any to begin with. Like I'm
I
thinking
feel
about the
bad
old
for the
people.
elderly. Yeah.
Yeah.
The elderly definitely needs it. Why
Like
people are being selfish. I've
especially
seen
medicine.
uh,
Like when it comes to like valuable medicine, like, and I'm just going to use this as an example. Like let's say ibuprofen is like essential for an elderly person to live a healthy and somewhat normal life. If you have one, you know, panic mom that goes out there, panic dad that goes out there and grabs like 10 bottles of ibuprofen, what's the point? Like, are you going around breaking every single bone in your body that you need that many pills? Like,
yeah, it just people are very to put it, they don't think about
greedy.
others. Yeah, greedy. That's a great word to describe it.
It's just, yeah, it's
There's
pure
just
greed.
no other way to put it. I mean, Brandy and I, we just slowly stocked up over 3 weeks to just get 2 weeks of worth of food just in case something did go bad.
Right. But like you're not sitting on a hoard treasure of 500 rolls of toilet paper, 20 bottles of Advil and ibuprofen combined, and like 30 gallons of milk or something. Like you're not stockpiling for like the end of the world.
No,
You're
no,
just
no.
you're just getting a little bit for a couple weeks to see if anything changes or whatever, and then you'll adjust as you need to. Because it's not like, and unfortunately, we can't completely shut down stores and food services, but like we can still prepare to not tax that industry as much as it needs to be. And I mean taxing as in like taking away from it.
Yeah. I mean, it's sad whenever you have to go, if you really want something that you won't see for the next 3 or 4 weeks, is that you have to go 10, 15 miles outside of any big city just to possibly get something.
Oh yeah, and that reminds me. I saw this funny post. It was like day one of quarantine, have 2 weeks worth of food and drinking like water and whatever else. I got plenty of medicine or whatever, and then it was like immediately under that day one of quarantine plus 45 minutes. I went to Target because I wanted a Kit Kat. I was
Wow.
like, that that is so much of at least America, if not the rest of the world.
It's definitely, definitely 100%. Oh my gosh.
It's ridiculous. But kind of like going off of like taxing industries, I have seen so many things about movies being like postponed or like the release date being moved up. But then on the flip
Yeesh.
side, a lot of like movies that had already been released that were going to be set out later for like digital release or DVD release, they've pushed those forward on their timeline because now people are quarantined and they're trying to do their best to help people stay at home.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I
which
didn't
is
know
it
that.
which is nice. And like there's a lot of movies that I want to see or that are going to be coming out within
Oh
the
my
next couple
gosh,
months
dude.
that I want to see, but we
I
won't get
cannot
to see for a while because of this whole thing.
believe. Oh, Marvel. Gosh, I am so disgustingly mad at how just horrible timing it is.
Oh dude, it's such bad timing. And like,
We won't get to see it.
no, I like you and I are both huge Marvel fans, like straight up nerds when it comes to watching those movies and stuff.
Black Widow, man.
I want to see Black Widow so bad, and we're not going to be able to see it
We
probably
don't
for
know
a
when.
while. Well, yeah, we don't
It's
know
just
when.
indefinitely now. Dude,
Well, I
it
think.
would have been a month from right now.
Oh, I
Not right
know.
now, but a little month and a couple days.
And now, yeah, we don't know what's gonna happen in the foreseeable future.
You're just gonna like when they pop back up, you're gonna see all these movies just flood the market. You're gonna be like, whoa.
Well, yeah, but I wonder if like it's not going to be that way because are they going to try to like strategically put out movies at certain times because like yeah, you have a bunch of movies always going at the same time, like being out at the same time in the movie theaters, and that's sort of a competition. But like if you flood the market for movies like new releases, I feel like it could either go one of two ways. That you could see like that could be a good thing because like people are finally able to go out and do things now, and so they'll want to go do those kind of things like go see movies or do whatever. Or it could be a really bad thing where like there's too many choices, and as soon as people go out, you don't have enough people seeing one movie at a time, like the big blockbuster hits.
Well, I also see a third option, which is
Which is, yeah, what?
So theoretically, after all this kind of dies out
Mm-hmm.
eventually, is that no one's going to have any true money because no one's been really working.
Right.
So I see that if you really want to flood the market with any kind of movies, you would kind of want it 3 to 4 months after it dies out and people go back to working and everything's sort of back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, there's more money just getting flown or like flowing through the market. Where then 3 to 4 months on the road, you're actually like, okay, let's finally put these out here because people actually have some kind of money to actually watch it. So
Right.
I mean, there's that too.
Yeah, and yeah, it's unfortunate that a lot of people are losing their jobs or, you know, not getting paid as much or whatever the case may be,
A
but
temporary.
I could definitely see it going that way as well.
Yeah, I just got a text from someone saying, "Yep, temporarily laid off until this blows over." Like,
Right.
oh,
Well, does that mean that they're gonna get their job back, like whenever this
yeah,
blows over?
yeah. Once it fires back up,
Oh, so they're just like temporarily unemployed,
yeah,
but still like associated with that company.
exactly. I wonder, but he he currently works 2 jobs, so I'm kind of curious as to which one is the temporarily unemployment. Hopefully, it's not his actual job, and hopefully, it's just his temp job.
Right, his side hustle. Well, I mean, who knows? But I mean, I was talking to my cousin the other day who worked in like the food industry or like the service industry, and she got laid off all 3 jobs because they just
Really?
didn't have people. Like one of the places was like a higher end restaurant, and it used to be that like you had to like this place was so popular that you had to book a reservation like 2 weeks in advance to like even get in because it was so like popular. And now they have nobody filling seats. I mean, rightfully
Gee.
so because like you should be staying home and stuff, but like that's just how big of an effect this thing has.
Yeah, even Brandy, she works at some physical therapy as an assistant.
Uh-huh.
Uh, so right now they are currently only working 2 days a week when they were overbooked for weeks at a time. Now they only work 2 days a week because there's only a few people that mainly need it,
Right.
and
You're
most of
only
it's
taking
going
in the
online.
Yeah, you're only taking in the people like physically that, just had surgeries or like are debilitated or whatever it may be.
Well,
Like you're
that
only
need
taking the
physical
extreme
help.
cases. You're not taking the person that sprained their ankle the other day.
Yeah, there. Well, for those people, there's a online kind of system now where you just watch videos to work on it, which
Yeah.
is kind of scary because you're just like, well, I mean,
You're not supervised by a professional.
I'm just gonna fall right here. Oh no.
Well then, and I don't know, maybe this is just me thinking about it in a weird way, but in a sort of better light or a positive way of looking at that is that you can't get sued if they fall in their own house.
Honestly, I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to bring
I
that
mean,
one up.
it's terrible to think about, but at the same time, it's
There
probably
are
true.
people out there. There are people out there that do that. So
Yeah, it is.
it's sad, but
No,
but
it is
speaking
really
of
sad.
uh home like videos to help improvement,
Yeah.
what do you think about home workouts now? Seeing how we're stranded at not working out
Dude,
and I think
so as a personal trainer, as somebody in that industry,
withdrawals.
well, yeah, one, I'm out of a job right now. Like, I have some clients that I've switched over to online or like home workouts, and like I send them videos like explaining
Well,
like
that's
what to
great.
do or whatever. But being able to find new clients and stuff is hard because like there are so many fitness people out there, Instagram, other types of social media that are putting out videos of, hey, you can do this, or you can, do this or try this, blah, blah, blah. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's not much that I can do, or at least I haven't come up with anything recently that I can set myself apart. Like, I can set my home workouts apart from somebody else's home workouts. So, like, it's going to take some time and some really innovative and creative thinking to be able to come up with something like that. So the only thing I've been doing so far is just giving my clients that I've already had or been working with, I've been giving them at-home workouts for free because the original workouts that I gave them were like for going in the gym, but now they can't do that. So I was like, well, because of all that stuff going on, I'll just give you a free like home workout that you can do. But goodness gracious, dude, like, I don't get me wrong, like, there's nothing bad about push-ups or pull-ups or like just body squats, but I miss it, man. I miss it.
Oh, I feel that, man. But Brandy and I took a different approach. Whenever we knew this was all going to hit the fan, we
Mhm.
actually went out and bought physical dumbbells.
Oh, did you really?
5s, 230s.
I mean, hey, anything is better than nothing, which is why, like, I'm glad I had resistance bands beforehand because of, like, I've been able to do some home workouts with resistance bands, which they can be great, like,
I
depending
already
if
broke one.
you know how to use them. Well, you got to know how to use them and take care of them, you
No, I
dingus.
was. It just physically just gave out on me.
Well, what did you have it, like, hooked on or set on?
No, I was stepping on it.
Well, yeah. You try to minimize that as much as possible
I
so that it
did.
doesn't snap.
Well, it didn't snap. The physical like end piece of it that hooks onto the rubber piece
Yeah.
unglued.
Well, it sounds like you just bought a really crappy
I mean,
resistance band.
it's like 4 to 5 years old, but now it's
Well,
my
yeah,
cat's toy.
dude, you're not giving me all the information.
It's 4 to 5 years old. That's all.
4 to 5 years old, that glue will deteriorate within 2 to 3 years.
Eh, I
Like,
made it
hopefully
work.
not a lot if you store it in the right place, but regardless, 5 years and you try to expect it to do everything that it used to be able to do, ain't gonna happen.
I thought I thought that when it snapped and like hit my leg, it would hurt a lot more. But I was just so in the mode that it just like it's like, oh crap, I broke it. And
Oh man.
went straight and grabbed the other like two that makes up for it and started doing it with those. I was like, "Ugh." But
But you make it work. Like,
yeah.
you do what you can at home. Like, I've come to appreciate the term rocking it from like Rocky Balboa. Like, just doing a lot of push-ups, a lot of sit-ups or ab workouts, a lot of pull-ups, like if you're able to. Like, I think the other day, and what I try to go to, at least what I've been trying to do, is that I try to do at least, so like I'll do, like, let's say Monday is like chest day for me. I have resistance bands, so in total I'll do 500 reps of push, like push variation. So like I'll do like 100 push-ups, or I'll do like 200 flies or something with the resistance bands. Like, I just try to get 500, and I try to do that twice a week. So in total I get, like, I do this for legs and back too, where I'll get 1,000 push variation, 1,000 reps of push variation, 1,000 reps of a pull variation, so like pull ups, pull downs, whatever, and then 1,000 reps of leg variations a week.
Oh, a week.
Yeah,
I
a
was gonna
week.
say if you did it in a day, I was like,
Dude, I
you
don't
would
think
be
I could do
miserable.
that in one day. Like,
Uh,
it's hard enough doing 100 pull-ups. Like, I have to split it up into like 10 sets of 10, or like, some sets I'll do 15 or 20, and then I'll like bump it down as I get more and more exhausted, but it is rough.
well, on the exact opposite spectrum of you, Brandy and transitioned over into a
Let me guess, beach body or
Yeah, Beachbody on Demand. Not gonna lie, that stuff works
Oh yeah.
extremely well.
Well, and that's the thing is like you gotta realize that like people have different goals especially when it comes to fitness. Like some people, especially like you're one of those hybrid ones that like you want to like lose fat, but you want to gain muscle. So like you're trying to do two things at once, which is harder, granted, but like you still have a goal in mind where
Still works, yeah.
yeah. But a lot of people are just trying to lose weight or just trying to lose body fat or just trying to gain muscle. So like for me, like I'm just trying to gain muscle at this point. So it's a little harder for me to make progress in my fitness goal whenever I'm stuck at home and I don't have access to heavy weights. But for someone that's just trying to lose body fat or lose weight in general, this stuff like that, Beachbody, P90X, stuff like that, like it's great for them. This is a good time for them.
Which, if anyone ever wants to try it out, we're not
No, we're not
sponsoring
sponsoring any
anything.
products. We're
We're
not
just
sponsored.
describing our takes on.
Personal experience,
Yeah, and if you want something that basically pushes you out of your comfort zone,
which is good.
you're more conditioned to the getting out of your comfort zone. It's a perfect way to do it. Someone like me that's been working out for many years now.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that I've lost base with my basically my rhythm. The rhythm is like so important that I totally forgot about it, because in this I think it's lift 4 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, if you work out 4 times a week, not gonna lie, all 4 times of the week I'm dead. Right now I'm pretty much, today's my rest day, so I'm physically just torn. Yeah, physically torn, technically
Mm-hmm.
micro tears, but it's so nice. But the rhythm that they're doing is up to, down to. So you're basically doing 2 seconds up, 2 seconds down, and
Mm-hmm.
it's so
What do you mean
nice.
up and down? Like up and down for what?
So like bent
You doing
over
like the hokey
rows,
pokey or something?
bent over rows, my God.
I
Basically,
just had to say that.
I know you were waiting for it. Or even like on the ground push up, or not push ups, sorry. Well, yes, push
Like
ups
burpees
too.
and stuff.
Well, there's so the ones that I'm doing is it hits all the major muscle groups, but then it
Mm-hmm.
also has a rotating cycle every other week or every other week. So basically, depending on the day and the week, you'll be doing some kind of cardio for half and half, or you'll just be lifting like for half, and then
Right.
instantly go into a straight cardio burn where you just burn anything and everything that you have energy wise. And what I'm not used to is having minimal to no break. I cannot stress how
Yeah.
much that really, really works if you haven't
It
been doing
wears
that
on you.
2 years. Like, I think the last time I've done that was with you guys, and that was just
And that was one of those weird days where we just decided to do a circuit out of the blue for no reason.
just
Like,
kill.
cause whenever like we work out together, like it's our uh buddy of ours from high school that we work out with sometimes. Whenever we go and lift, like we lift heavy, like we're trying to do like big movements, get stronger and like build a lot more muscle than necessarily like lose fat. So if you're doing that kind of work, you take rest periods so you can put out maximal effort. Like you take like anywhere from like a minute to 5 minute break in between heavy lifts because that's what you need to recover in order to be able to do it. But yeah, if you're doing something like Beachbody or P90X, you have like maybe 10 seconds in between exercises or none. And then the big breaks that you get, they're not even that long.
I think the big breaks is like 30 seconds. Other than that, it's like 10 to 15 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't used. I think the last time I did anything similar was probably when I was like 12 or something. I did Beachbody or something P90X with my aunt, and yeah, that was forever ago.
So if you guys ever want to just go out and do stuff like that, go ahead and do it.
Yeah,
It really works. We recommend it. That's
yeah,
if you're
and
like stuck at home.
well,
Yes.
yeah, and that well, she should be staying home regardless. But like, the main thing is like during a time like this, like, yeah, you're probably not gonna make as much progress as necessary as you would in the gym, depending on if you actually take your lifts in the gym seriously. But if you know you're not gonna see as many if you're staying home, you're not gonna see as much progress. But just do something active, like be some like you could do air like I said, you could do air squats, you can do push-ups. Like there's something you can do. You need to get something in because the moment or not the moment, but if you stay not sedated, if you're sedative for an extended period of time, which we might be for the foreseeable future stuck at home, if you're sedative for that long, you're gonna develop health issues, and not the same type of health issues that come with a disease or virus or bacteria. I'm talking like being able to walk around or having a healthy back or healthy joints. Like you need to like if basically the like philosophy is use it or lose it, and that's what's going to happen.
I cannot agree more. And that's why, in other words, you should probably be aiming to come out of this more muscular than you wanted to go. I mean, it's like a different lifestyle because, be honest, Jared, when we go to the gym, we don't do a lot of body weight. And now that we're
No.
stuck and doing a lot of body weight, kind of,
Oh, I'm gonna be the push-up king when I after this is all over.
I'm I've actually started to gain abs in here, so I'm hoping by the end of this I'll actually have some kind of abs to be like, hey
You'll
guys,
actually
look,
have a beach
I actually put
body.
in the work at home.
You'll actually have a beach body that you may not even get a show because we might not be able to go to the beach.
Oh my gosh,
You'll
it'll
you
be
might not
okay.
have a 2020 beach body. Well, you'll have a 2020 beach
It'll be
body,
a
but you won't get to
2021
show
beach.
it until 2021.
Now, kind of switch over here.
Yeah, go for it.
Um, we need to get sunglasses so that we can look like Manning or like some kind of sunglasses so whenever we go out golfing, we can look as good as whatever kind of matchup that Tiger and I think
Dude, this thing, like, I don't, did you hear like how it blew up or like where this all started
it started
from?
on Twitter, right?
It probably did, but I just like the thing that I knew is that like everybody was talking about how like they want to see like Tiger and Phil Mickelson just play on their own or just like play like normal people would, not getting a warm like doing their 2 hour warm up or whatever they do before like the PGA or something. Because like whenever we go golfing, I show up maybe 10, 15 minutes before our tee time, chip a few on the practice green, swing my arm around a little bit, do some practice drives, and then I'm like, I just go. Because like for me, it's just a pastime, like it's leisure.
Oh, I can't wait. Honestly, I really cannot wait to start golfing again. It's been a while, but
My worry is that when we do go golfing again, that because I was slowly starting to fix my drives because I was either hooking them or I can't remember which one's which, but I was hooking them or slicing them so bad, like almost every time, if not every other time. And I'm worried now that if I don't get back to golfing soon or practicing, I'm just gonna go right back to that, and I'm just gonna hook and slice every single drive, and I'm not gonna be able
oh
to
yeah.
do well. Yeah, so not being able to golf is going to be a real big problem. And kind of what I've done in the meantime, or at least set up, is I've got a red Solo cup in the corner of my room or across my room, and then I have ping pong balls, and I've slowly just been like here and there chipping them in, trying to chip them in. I haven't made one yet.
Well, I mean, that's more than what I've been doing. I mean,
Well, I mean, but
my
yeah, but you've got more stuff to do than I do. I've got a lot more free time on my hand right now,
yeah,
given
but
the
at the
current
same time, it's
situation.
more of time management. Time management is kind of like the key in the whole aspect of this whole
Well,
thing.
you also have a job, and I don't right now because of the whole situation. But I've just
Yeah.
been doing it because I'm just like, I literally the other night, I was like, I need a break from doing homework and sitting around doing nothing. So I was like, nah, why not? I'll just hit some ping pong balls.
I
Thankfully,
mean,
haven't put a hole in anything yet, though. We're trying to keep it that way.
but seeing how you did talk about the school aspect, don't you think that we should at least, as a collective college kind of community, should accept just grades, basically just stop classes and say that if you've been passing this entire part of the semester, that you technically pass the whole class?
I would want to say yes, just because I am doing very well right now, and I'd love to not have to do any more. But there are those, you got to remember, there are those people that don't always start off very well in classes and with grades. And so this time may be beneficial to them to bring that up, if the teacher or professor is a little more lenient and understanding because these are trying and difficult times. But um, I don't think we're going to see anything like that. I think we're still going to see the way it's been going right now, online classes, online lectures, take home assignments, stuff like that. And I understand, because like you still need to learn the information. Like that's the whole point of going to college, is to learn knowledge and information.
Oh, I agree. But this current moment that where we are as seniors, we just need to
Yeah,
kind of, it's one of those where if you're not passing by now, it's kind of just like, well,
it's kind of, yeah, like unless you're gonna take a fifth year, or take another however long it takes, whatever, that's a different story. But like in our situation, you already have a job lined up. I've already graduated and I'm looking for a job. So like, or at least I haven't graduated yet. I am able to graduate and basically have. So like for us, it really doesn't matter. But there are those people who may need this last semester because it might mean a make or break for them for whatever reason.
now I know that some people for uh, some of their classes, especially their capstone,
Mm-hmm.
I know someone that needs a internship just to graduate, which is pretty bizarre, but
Yeah.
um, where they have documented proof that they were going to get some kind of internship or some kind of job for the summer, or some temporary job that actually allows them to complete their capstone.
Right.
And now that this whole epidemic is going up, that, or sorry, pandemic, not epidemic,
Well,
but anyways, that there are employers canceling their internships just because,
mm-hmm.
just in case that they actually do start back up, that it might be less than 10 weeks, which is less than the amount of time that's considered to be a complete internship. But now
Right.
schools are saying, well, somehow that you had documented proof that you're going to actually have the internship, that we'll just count it towards
Mm-hmm.
you. Um, Therefore, it's not like a break for you.
Right.
But
Like you
I
don't have
feel
to
like
take extra
some,
time to do that.
yeah, but I feel like some colleges should just do that. I mean, right now
I
we have
think.
the
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying that what we have at IUPUI is basically stating that if you can have two certain options where you can actually take the percentage grade that you currently have right now, or you can actually take a like a satisfactory, or I think I forget what the other one is called, but basically it's like a pass or fail, and it doesn't count towards your GPA.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. We have a similar thing going on right now where like you can if you want to. We call it transfer to credit, which just is like a pass fail kind of thing, similar. Where like anybody can do it now, and it can be for any class. You can do it, but I'm not taking that option.
See, I want to, or I want to, but not want to. I'm probably just gonna stick with the percentage grade because at the current moment, it's one of those where I'm 99.99% going to pass all these classes. I just need to finish it through.
Right.
But
Well, I can't do it because I'm still trying to get into grad school, and one of the reasons I didn't get into a few places was because my GPA wasn't as high as they really wanted. Like it wasn't very, I guess, competitive in their light. I mean, like I still have a decent GPA, but like it's a competitive field, so it's one of the criteria that they look at. And so like I'm not going to convert any of these classes to just a pass fail because I'm doing really well and it could help out my GPA. So like
yeah, no, I agree. Where those some of those things will actually full on help you.
right.
I can see it's more of the circumstance,
Mm-hmm.
but I wish that they could like just make it where you you pass, but you still get the GPA for it, or it's like you just pass with a straight up 4.0 or whatnot.
That would, if they did that in a heartbeat, I would change over to pass or fail, but that's not going to happen. So won't be seeing that. But my hope would be that professors and high school teachers and grade school, like teachers and professors all across the board, all across the world, if you're having online classes, which I mean, I guess most should be because of the situation going on right now, but that they would be a little more understanding, they'd be a little more lenient. Like one of my college buddies, he said that the professor is giving them extra work to do because they're at home and I guess wasting time, I guess. I don't even know, but
I
it's
feel
like
like that is cruel.
I think the exact same thing. Like what's the point? Like they're spending just as much time in class because it's an online lecture. They're spending just as much time learning them stuff from your lecture, and they would spend just the same amount of time at home or at their fraternity house or dorm room, whatever it is they live on campus. They'd spend just the same amount of time working on homework, so you shouldn't be giving them extra to do. Like there's no point for it.
I feel like if if your school was like a commuter college, that would make more sense. Which I mean, there are commuter colleges out there
Yeah.
where I mean you're spending more of the time just on the road compared to you're actually going to class.
Right. But not everybody's going to be in that same boat. So don't, hurt a few of those that are having more free time and you're hurting the people that don't have the same amount of free time or that don't usually have that happens. Like you're creating a disparity. Like you're not treating it fairly for everybody.
Oh no, I completely agree. Plus, I mean, now that you have more distractions like at home than you did at school, more or less. Some people, I
Well,
can't
I
say
mean, especially if you have pets, like you gotta take care of them. Like you're not gone for however many hours you're in class or at work or wherever. Like you're gonna have to deal with some more things living at your house. So don't give the students extra work just because you think that they have more free time. That's not necessarily true.
I mean, you also have to take in consideration if the actual professors actually knowing or if they have some kind of pet one way or another.
Yeah, but I feel like it just in general, like just as a principle, give them the benefit of the doubt that like treat it as if they were in school, like on campus. Like don't give them extra work now just because it's all online. But I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I feel like as a principal, don't like give everybody the benefit of the doubt. But I don't know. That's just me. I don't have
That's
much to
just
do
you.
I don't have much to do anyway, so I'm hoping none of my professors listen to this because I don't want extra work to do.
Or by the time they actually listen to it, it's actually well gone. So
Oh, hopefully. Dude, and that's the thing, like I wonder how long this is gonna last. Like, yeah, you talked earlier about how we're trying to get vaccines and stuff, but we still gotta wait for them to actually prove that they're
or until it
beneficial.
dies off.
Or yeah, it sort of plateaus on its own, or we'll call it flatten the curve.
Which, I mean, honestly, I think everyone at this current moment is just waiting for that to happen. They're just tired of it.
I read something that was like, since when did somebody turn on apocalyptic mode on 2020?
Who turned on zombies?
Yeah, it was like I can't remember what it was, but it was like early 2020 turned on fire mode or whatever because we had all those like natural wildfires and stuff going on, like especially in like Australia and stuff. And then it was like, when did somebody switch over to zombies with the virus? I was like, that's pretty funny.
Well, I'm hoping that the minimal amount of cases that are actually going up or like coming to the surface kind of die out
Mm-hmm.
in the next week or two, where there's less active cases or less people actually
Right.
getting it.
But that's the problem that we're finding out as we're dealing with this, is that a lot of possible cases are not even being diagnosed because apparently a lot of them are asymptomatic. Like, we're just not seeing all of the possible people who are infected because some people just don't show any signs. And that's going to be the downfall, is the moment of disbelief.
I mean, now there's more companies and more different ways to treat it, which is makes it a lot quicker
Yeah.
of healing. Which, if that's true, then that even flattens out the curve even more, as we so say.
Yeah, and we just like, people just need to realize in general, just do everything you can to minimize like the spread of this. Like, it's not very often that the entire world is affected by something that we can all unite and get behind. So just do your part to like help out, or even if you can't like help out, like donating money or donating your time, wherever it may be, just
Just
do
stay
what you
home.
can to not make it worse. Like, bare minimum, just don't make it worse.
In some shape or form, staying home or
Yeah,
just
or like keeping things extra clean and hygienic. Like, you should be hygienic regardless, but you should pay more attention to it in a time like this.
be more thoughtful of others
Yeah,
and
definitely
yourself.
more thoughtful and vigilant.
That's the only way we can get through this.
Right. And I mean, that's the same kind of thing that like happened with like I want to say it was the Spanish flu, was that after World War One? I think there was some big pandemic right after World War One that people were coming back from overseas fighting, and there was a huge flu or disease or something going on. It's like we're
Spanish
seeing kind of the
flu
same thing.
might have been before 1918.
Yeah, that was right after the war, or at the start, or sorry, it
World War One.
started towards the end of World War One, I think.
Well, that's terrifying.
Yeah, like we lost. I want to say honestly, I think we might have lost more people. There might have been more deaths from the Spanish flu than there was in the entire World War One. Like, that's how bad it got.
hopefully that's nowhere near.
Yeah, well, hopefully with the advances in modern technology and medicine, we won't have to have something like that happen, or we won't have as many deaths and fatalities. But who knows? Well, we should probably wrap this up. So you can find this podcast on our YouTube channel, Drink and Think, and then you can also find us on Spotify. We are the Drink and Think podcast. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. We'll be hopefully recording more in the near future as we get this situation fixed and we find out the best solution to record some more. But make sure you guys stay inside, be safe, be healthy, and we'll see you later.
All right, see you guys.